Today we are going to talk about an installer when it comes to IT industry, who an installer is, um, works of an installer, and the various areas of an installer and what makes an installer. So stay tuned, subscribe, and we will come your way with the good news of IT. Okay, so who is an installer? So we are going to take this particular video one by one. And first, we are going to talk about an installer, then we move so that we all get an understanding as we move. Now, who is an installer? An installer, you are a service professional in charge of fixing, installing, or positioning a product or system in a designated location. Let's pay attention to the keywords in a designated location, you know, designated location where they say, okay, this has to be here, that has to be there, this has to be there, that has to be there. So you are taking charge of how to fix it, how to install it, how to position them as being instructed. Whether it's a product, a system, all this must be in a certain designated location. That's the work of an installer. Now, in this, you perform the necessary setup task to ensure items are ready for operation. You see, so installers make sure things are ready for operation all the time. They have to make sure they are ready all the time. As an installer, your duty is to ensure installation is properly and safely done. Properly and safely done. Properly and safely done. Now, installers perform diverse range of tasks depending on the industry that you are in or you find yourself. Yes, diverse range of tasks. So many range of tasks. Yes. Some of your installers can even work even more than their range, and they even get to a bit of technicians field. We will get to that when we get to technicians field. Well, now, depending on your industry in which you are as an installer, you are going to get into all these things. Whether you are in construction, whether you are in mining, whether you are in oil and gas, whether you are in finance, whether you are in IT, whatever you find yourself, just to mention a few, whatever you find yourself, these things that we just mentioned, this is how your schedule is going to be. Now, there are regulations and blueprints that installers are familiar with in the domain that they are. All over, there are blueprints, there are regulations that installers are familiar with. Yes, of course, there are. Now, what are the type of installers? Now, the type of installers are based on the product and service that they install. Installers work in various industries and install different equipment or fixtures in residential and commercial. So, as an installer, it doesn't mean that you only work for residential. No, you work in both places. You work in residential and you work in what? In commercial. Now, somebody will ask, how many installers do we have, or what are the different areas of installers? We have so many. But just to mention a few, we have solar panel installers, we have software installers, we have aluminum installers, we have flooring installers, we have appliances installers. Now, working as an installer, we're going to look at what does an installer do? What does an installer do? What do they do? As an installer, what is required of me? Now, as an installer, you perform diverse duties based on the item you install. Okay, the task and the project that you are working on. Look at, as an installer, there are certain things that you have to know. Number one, you have to know how to do reading of blueprint and work order specification. Now, some of the projects, they have their own design already, which they will just give it to you and say, okay, we want maybe camera should be here, or speaker should be there, or we want the mic should be here, or we want the solar panel to be installed there, or we want the telecommunication panel should be here, or we want the waves panel should be here, or maybe we want the camera, or we want the access control should be here, we want fire alarm should be there and there and there and there. So these are some of the reading blueprint that will be given to you, that based on this, do the work this way, do it that way. We are going to ride with the blueprint to be able to execute what you want to do. And work order specification, everywhere has its order. Where am I starting from? Where am I going to stop today? Today I have to do A, B, C, D. What is next? If I encounter this, who do I have to communicate with? I communicate with it. How long does it have to take? If I have a problem, what should I do? Those are the work order specifications. You have to also know measuring and layout. This also is very, very, very important as an installer. They do it a lot. Installers, we do it all the time. Measurement, the layout, where to put it, how to measure 1 inches, 1 feet, 3 inches and half, 2 feet. We do all this, and there are codes in all domains of work, whether you are installed. There are codes. There are building codes, there are code for access control, there are code for CCTV, there are codes in electric fence, there are codes in fire alarm system, there are codes for installing CCTV camera at mining sites, whether access control at mining site, in a bank, in whatever. There are codes everywhere. So as an installer also, you need to know all this to follow. Curtain and installing. Yes, of course, we do curtain and then we do the installation. Repairing and patching. Yes, always we go with that. Ensuring safety and cleanliness. Most of us installers, we don't pay attention to that. When you are working, your environment has to be in a certain way as an installer. When you are done working, your environment also has to be in a certain way. Whether for the client to come and see, your supervisor to come and see, or the next to come and work also should have a certain well environment prepared for them also to work. As an installer, what should be my salary? Yes, because we are all working to earn. We are all working to earn. Then what should be my salary as an installer? I'm going to take it from an angle. Your earnings fluctuate based on experience and the scope of your work. I'm going to take it again. Your earnings fluctuates based on experience and the scope of your work. It means that if I am an installer and I just finished training and I finished school and I wanted to start work, mind you, the salary is not going to be like somebody who has been in the field for 5 years. No. This is average. You start with a salary of 22,000 to 30,000 per year. This is where experience also comes in, like I mentioned earlier. Experience here. Here comes the juice. The most experienced installers take home over 40,000 to 60,000 annually. Sometimes it goes even more than that. Some goes up to 100,000 annually. Yes. Now, the key words: most experienced installers take home over 40,000 to 60,000 annually. As an installer, the size of the company you work for influences your earnings. The potential due to the complexity of your task. Because larger companies, they have a larger task. So if you bring your experience to the larger company, they are going to pay you high. Large companies have unlimited resources and can afford higher salaries. So they have the unlimited resources. They have the resources to be able to pay you, right, the skills that you are bringing on board. Installer skills and education. Some of the education requirement for becoming an installer in Ghana, education qualification, at least secondary qualification, is not mandatory, but you should have it. Now, you require training. Yes, you require training. You need to have certain type of training. If you want to be an installer, you need to have a training, and then you have on-the-job training. There is a difference between training and on-the-job training. It gives them the knowledge. So the training is the knowledge that you receive. On the job training, it is the skill that you put into. Now you have the knowledge. Now that knowledge must be transferred through the skills to produce result. Okay, some technical role require additional training. Yes, that's very important. So if you are an installer, at least as you are on the job, there are some technical roles that will be coming that will require another training so that you can also acquire those experiences, be able to use it in the future. Work experience and certifications. Yes, some people they require that. The requirement for working in construction differ from the IT industry. That's true. That's true. Mind you, construction and IT both goes together, but it doesn't mean the requirement in construction is the same requirement that you get in IT, but they all flow together. For instance, as an installer in Ghana, you may require to provide your license on certain projects. Certain projects, they will require to produce your license. Yes, I've had certain instances of that way, and then the people say, "Oh, okay. So are you certified to be able to install this particular brand?" I say yes. So they will ask you to provide it. You know, the reason is every certificate has their number. They are going to use the number to refer to this particular company and say, "Hey, we have a guy here that said they can be able to do A, B, C, D, which we wanted to do. We just want to find out if they are truly a representative or they can be able to do the project for us. If it is yes, then they'll say, okay, then we are good to go. You'll be on the project for them." In some industry, the installer is required to obtain apprenticeship. Yes, apprenticeship must come with a document that shows that yes, he has gone through this apprenticeship for maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Yes, that will specify that. Oh, okay. Even after the training, you were on the job training as well, and then you've acquired the apprenticeship, and the occupational certification is also important. Now, let's look at career opportunity as an installer. Yes, working as an installer in Ghana is a promising career. That's very true. It's a promising career, offering you numerous growth opportunities. You also have various opportunities to specialize in a specific field. Yes. All right. So, in the specific field, alternatively, improve your quality and become a senior installer or a technician in your field. Definitely, you have to grow. You have to grow. Always learn something. So, installers always to become senior installer, to become a maintenance technician or field service technician. That's one of an installer. Now, what are the qualities of an installer? Number one, attention to detail. Please, installers, attention to detail is key. Attention to detail. Now, let's say this. As an installer, your installation duties requires attentiveness. Attentiveness. You get it? Attentiveness to detail. Detail. For instance, you should be keen when removing flooring or measuring the site to install products and services or system. When you are detail oriented, you can match the texture of whether this should match with this or this should go with this. You see, so you can match whether the new one is to ensure the finishing work meets the client's needs. Now, communication skills, like I mentioned earlier on, every installer needs communication skills. How to communicate to client, how to represent the company when the company is not there, but the questions that are coming, you don't know anything about it. How to handle very difficult clients, how to handle moment where the client is not in a good mood, how to explain to the client what is done, what to be done, and the entire thing, the solution that is going to give. This is also very number 3 for time management. Yes, time management. Time management. You need to make sure as an installer, it is important to adhere to project timelines, especially for large construction projects. For instance, other trade people could be waiting for floor installers to finish their work before they can complete their own task. This happens a lot. I know my fellow installer will say, yes, masons, tilers, POP guys, yes, they are our brothers. So time management. So this video is good for you and it's good for them also as well. Let's manage time and make sure we finish our tasks so that others also can continue to do their tasks. Now, hence, adhering to deadline reduces your chances of inconveniencing other trade people, like I said earlier. Now, physical stamina, one key. As an installer, you perform physically demanding work. Yes, you raise, you sit, you bend, we do a lot of these things. So being physically fit helps you lift heavy materials and minimize workspace injuries. Workspace injuries a lot. Now, career opportunities as an installer. Working as an installer in Ghana is a promising career. It's a promising career. Believe me or not, it's a promising career. Now, work environment of an installer. What environment do we have to create as an installer? Let's look at it. As an installer, your work environment depends on the project you work on. Yes, it's true. For instance, when at site, you wear protective equipment or materials. This, my fellow installers, this is very important. Yes, this is very important. This goes to our seniors and then our employers also as well. Please, let's provide protective materials and equipment to the installers and our guys. It's very important. Very, 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 very important. Helmet, glove, goggle, boots, reflectors, equipment, so that you see when those things are available, if there is any injury that should come to you, the helmet is there. Any injury that will come to your eye, the goggle is there. Your hand, the glove is there. Even if that injury should happen to you, the impact will not be that deep. As an installer, you work at high and low heights and spend most of the day standing or bending. One of the engineers I know, when he's working, he doesn't joke with his safety gears. Not at all. If he's climbing up, you see him hanging himself to he always say, Dave, this is very important, so I can't leave it out the working environment, and I always recommend him to people. Now, installer work schedule. The typical work schedule of an installer is likely to work up to 40 hours. Remember, the keyword is likely. Likely. Now, let's see why I say likely. In some projects, you start your work day early in the morning. Early in the morning, you can also find part-time installer role. Since you also perform maintenance jobs, you may be called on to fix problem over the weekend or during the evening. Yes. Who are your colleagues? This is very important. You are likely to work with project managers, electricians, general laborers. Okay. You are likely to work with technicians. You are likely to work with masons. You are likely to work with plumbers. You are likely to work with tilers. You are likely to work with in the field. You may also collaborate with IT technicians, plumbers, and maintenance technicians. You also work with construction workers and service technicians. Our colleagues, yes. So if you are working, make sure you are in good collaboration with them. Sometimes what we do is that after we are done with our pipe work, infrastructure setup, and all those things, we call them, especially the mason, we call them and say, oh guys, we've done this kind of work. We are not done here, but from here to here, we are done. You can cover it up to this level, but from here to there, we are not done yet. Make sure you do it. Sometimes what I do is we take their numbers, even if they are not inside, and then we explain to them that, oh, if you go to say, that we mark from here to here, please, you can cover from there to there. But where we didn't mark, which is this angle, this place, this room, this office, this, that, please don't cover it. We are not done yet. In 2 days or the next day or in next week, you will come over and finish it, so that there will be some kind of agreement in our working space. That's it. Thank you so much for this video, and thank you for your time. I'm sorry this video is a bit long, but it's very, 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 very educational. Let's take it seriously, and when we are on site as installer, go through it and then take time to have time, and then take the details of it and apply it to your work. And my name is David Koku Sanderson, and this is Tech Minds coming to your way. Please subscribe and then click that button.